This show is an Oprah-inspired take on Oprah's favorite things with our host, Harpo, who will showcase the importance that networking has to your PRSSA chapter. A quick disclaimer that while the program is based on real events, these are fictional characters. Before we start, I have a few things that as the audience you need to know. Whenever I hold up this sign, if you could please clap your hands. And whenever I hold up this sign, if you could please Very good. As long as I hold up the signs, you may make as much noise as you like. When the signs are down, please bring your attention back to the show. Please refrain from making noises except for when I hold up these signs. Nearing the end of DePaul PRSSA's favorite things, Harpo will open up questions to the studio audience. Hope you enjoy the show. Here's Harpo!
Welcome! You've all come on a great day. Today we are discussing DePaul PRSSA favorite things! They may have many favorite things, but theirs and mine, most favorite thing of all is networking. Yes, that's right, networking. In this great industry of public relations, one of the most crucial attributes needed to succeed is networking. For those of you who don't know, networking is the process of building business relationships and making contacts and forming a relationship with them. Hopefully, the goal here is that these contacts will help you out later on in your career professionally. DePaul PRSSA is all about utilizing their prime location in Chicago to network. They've had career fairs, they've had agency visits, and speakers come in from all over, including Ruther Finn, Golden Harris, and Second City. To fully demonstrate how DePaul PRSSA utilizes networking in Chicago, I have 4 guests here today to show you. Our first guest is Marissa Karlins, a senior PR and advertising major from DePaul. She is on the digital committee for her chapter and says that PRSSA has made a huge impact on her PR career. Let's bring out Marissa. Hi Marissa, how are you doing?
Great, thank you.
Alright, well thank you for joining us. Alright, so you've been with your chapter since your sophomore year, correct?
Yep, that's right.
Now, since you've been with your chapter for so long, could you tell us a bit more about it?
Sure. Well, DePaul PRSSA is a pre-professional organization that connects students with the PR world. I first heard about PRSSA through classroom outreach, where a member came in, explained to us what PRSSA was, and then invited us to the first meeting. I decided that it was a good idea, chance to get my foot in the door, and it's been great ever since.
Now, how did networking become important when you became involved with PRSSA?
Well, the great thing about PRSSA is that it's taught us how to network. The board and advisors have done an amazing job connecting us with their professional contacts. For instance, we do things like YPN events and PRSA events. Actually, one of my very first networking events was our regional activity. It was pretty amazing because there was students from 12 different universities that attended. During the social, I met an account executive, Christina, who looked over my resume. At the time, I wasn't really sure what professionals were looking for, so it was a great help. I kept in contact with her, and because of that, I got an internship.
That's great! Who knew that networking could lead to that so early on when you're still in college?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy the way things turned out. If it wasn't for DePaul PRSSA teaching me how to network and also keeping the contacts, I probably would have kept in touch with Christina and wouldn't have the internship I have today.
Well, I'm happy how things turned out as well, Marissa. So happy that in fact, I have a surprise here for you today. Let's bring our next guest, Marissa's professional friend and contact from Edelman, Christina Lund! Thank you for joining us, Christina. We're so happy to reunite you both here on DePaul PRSSA's Favorite Things. So Marissa's been here telling us, the audience, about how you've been involved with the chapter and participating in networking events. Could you tell us more about your role with the chapter?
Well, thank you for having me, Harpo. I'm really excited to be here. I first became involved with PRSSA as an advisor through YPN and PRSA. As many of you may know, PRSSA is a parent chapter for PRSSA. I thought my involvement would be a great way to connect students with current working PR practitioners. As Marissa mentioned, I want to be a resource for students in any way that I can, whether it be through resume review, mock interviews, or just getting together and grabbing a cup of coffee and talking about ways to get better. I love sharing my networking tricks with these young professionals.
That's so amazing that you're willing to help so many people. But how did Marissa stand out at that networking event?
Marissa was very professional. When we were talking, she expressed some concern for her lack of relevant PR experience, and then later told me that she had been writing for her chapter's monthly newsletter, Express. Little did she know she already had her foot in the door with networking.
Oh, right. Now, doesn't DePaul PRSSA's newsletter go out to all the professional contacts that the chapter has established relationships with?
Yes, it does. The newsletter goes out to about 130 members, and then 90 Chicago area professionals and their College of Communications, including their dean.
Now, I just so happen to have a copy of Express right here. And hey, look, there's Marissa's segment. It looks like this month she talked about all her philanthropy work in Chicago.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. Our chapter has become really involved in a lot of nonprofit organizations, and because of Express, we're able to share our philanthropic activity.
Can you tell us more about your involvement?
Sure. Well, one of the most rewarding things about DePaul's PRSSA is we get to work with these nonprofit organizations and really get the chance to give back. And while we're giving back, we also get the opportunity to meet people in the community.
Now, how do you go about finding these different nonprofits you work with?
Well, we keep an eye out on campus for different charities and organizations, along with throughout the city of Chicago. One woman by the name of Lisa, who we've created a contact with, has connected us to many other charities and organizations.
All right, well, as I mentioned earlier, networking is also one of my favorite things. But another one of my favorite things is surprises. Marissa, I have one more here for you today. Let's bring out our next guest. Marissa, this is somebody you work closely with in your philanthropy work in Chicago, Lisa Rodriguez! All right, Lisa, now, how did you get connected with Marissa in her chapter?
Well, I actually met Marissa at a nonprofit networking event held by PRSSA. She told me how they were involved with Ascension Service Day and helped plan a community garden in Chicago. They were even recognized by a local area hospital in their newsletter for their hard work and dedication. As you can tell, they're definitely a hard-working group of individuals. So I pointed in the direction of one of my friends that was putting on a Santa relief effort event called Booking Out Bombs. They helped out by creating a logo, promoting on Facebook, Twitter, and they even held a bake sale to raise money for the event.
Wow, that is fascinating how you were able to connect your philanthropic network with Marissa in her chapter. But what has the chapter done for you?
Well, I'm actually the marketing director of the Ronald McDonald House Charities, and I connected with the chapter to have them come in and cook a meal for the children. I already gave some of the members a tour, and they were able to see how their contributions together could help. Again, they're a great group of young professionals, and who knows, maybe one day they can land a PR internship at Ronald McDonald House Charities.
Aww. All right. Now it's time to bring out our final guest of the day, DePaul PRSSA's president, Sonal Moran!